Hello, beautiful people. I hope everybody is doing well. Welcome back to a new video. My name is Evelyn Borta, and those of you that are new to my channel, welcome to my channel. I'm very happy to have you here. Those of you that have been already here, welcome back. And thank you everybody who is supporting me on my Patreon. Whoever has joined, your contribution means a lot to me because it's helping me to post more often. And I'm doing my best as well to post on YouTube too frequently. All right, so today's video is going to be about preparation, like prepping. To prep or not to prep for the times that are coming, for the hard times that are ahead, and this NWO agenda that we are seeing more and more signs of that is kicking in. And this is something that more and more people are having in their minds about the times ahead. We are seeing crazy increase in prices and crazy inflation as well, and a collapse in the economy. So it has been kind of evident that this is something that is going to happen, but I think it wasn't actualized in many people's minds until they really saw that, yes, actually, this is what is going on. Every single day, prices are rising. So I don't need to tell you what is happening because everyone is being affected in some shape or form. And it's important to be aware with these things. And I always talk about that, and to have a grounded and centered approach. However, this is a little bit of a stressful and controversial topic nowadays because there is a fine line between being prepared and having that grounded, centered approach and being afraid and panicking. And many people, because they don't find the middle ground, they avoid being prepared for these things because they do think that this will actually attract certain situations into their lives. And there's a little bit of truth in that. So it is important to find the middle ground. And this is what I want to talk about in today's video. And what is the real preparation? How we can really prepare for these times. All right, so I'm going to talk about that, and I think I'm going to do a reading as well about Canada, because some of you have messaged me saying that there's still a lot of tyranny that is going on in full shape in Canada, unfortunately, as an aftermath of the convoy, the Freedom Convoy movement. And yeah, I just want to see what is the situation there. I don't know what is the COVID narrative there, if there are still lockdowns or not. So let me know in the comment section, because I'm not following the news and I didn't come across information about Canada at all these days. And in terms of Australia as well, I have no idea if the restrictions are being lifted now or they're still the same situation there, but we can do a reading about that as well. Okay. So yeah, these are the things that I want to talk about. But before that, there are some very interesting things that are unfolding these days as following the COVID narrative that did not work out. And one of them is the report that just came out from Pfizer about the side effects of the liquid. Now, that report is containing a lot of information, and I believe that that will be very helpful for people to understand what was going on there and how dangerous the liquid it was. And I think they found out that they were like 1,300 side effects or something like that. But anyways, what I have noticed is that the mainstream media is a little bit trying, like, slowly to turn against Pfizer and to turn against that narrative and to kind of shed light, but like slowly on the corruption of the company and on the profit orientation, like how much money they have made actually from this whole COVID narrative. So it's very interesting to see that the same central governance that has many different wings, right? And it's working, this network is all like synchronized and they are working together. And it's very interesting to see that they are turning against each other, because people are slowly they are finding out that something was very wrong about this whole narrative. And as soon as that comes out, and as soon as people get really angry and frustrated about it because they woke up to reality, they have to be very careful not to stretch too much. And that's why they pulled back with the narrative. And now the tactic is to turn against these giant companies, giant corporations, and turn people against them as well. So this is a typical tactic which they are doing with Russia as well, right? They are finding a boogeyman. They are finding a boogeyman that people can have different opinions about, and people can turn against each other. And this is what they are doing now with the liquid narrative as well. And what happened with the liquids? Oh, we don't have anything to do with it. It wasn't our orchestration, but it was these giant corporations' orchestration just to make money. And we have to be aware with that, because this is not about money. It is about money to a certain degree, but on those high levels, money doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter for them if they have, I don't know, $100 billion more or less. Like it doesn't have value any longer, the money. You can buy things to yourself and it is fulfilling to a certain degree, but after that it's just, like you become neutral because you have it already. So this is about power and lording over a society, lording over humanity. So it's an occult tactic to direct the blame and turn people against each other so they can continue, the deep state and those that are thinking that are controlling the world, they can continue doing that from the shadows. So we don't see who is really the person that is behind those things. We see only those puppets that are being presented to us and are all over mainstream media. So yeah, this is what is happening, and I don't think it was planned to be like this from the beginning, but because it did not work out, we need another boogeyman. We need someone to be blamed for the corruption that is going on in the world, and that can serve as setting the stage for the Great Reset again, because the Great Reset wants equality, doesn't want anyone to have anything and to own anything. And it is being built on this idea that we have to be equal, and the only way to be equal is not to own anything, because look what is happening with these big corporations. We have to stop that, kind of. So it's very interesting that this tyrannical totalitarian system is turning against itself at some point. And these are one of those esoteric and occult dynamics that I talked about in my previous video. So if you haven't watched that video, watch that, because you will understand how these dynamics work and what is the real goal of these people, of these entities with humanity. All right, the other thing that was very interesting that I saw was that Donald Trump has announced that he will run for presidency again in 2024. And the excitement, the euphoria that I have seen, like in the comments as well, I don't know, I saw like a news broadcaster that was talking about that, and oh my god, people were so euphoric about that, so excited. I thought to myself that this is a perfect example for this savior syndrome, that the majority of people, unfortunately, is still waiting for someone to save them. It's like, oh my god, like he is the person that we need. If he comes back, everything will change. He will throw over these people that are corrupt, because everything is happening because of the left and those people that are left-wing or whatever, like it's all about politics, and it's all about waiting for an external force again to solve our problems, instead of us focusing on ourselves and where we can solve problems within us, where we can work on us in order to get back into alignment with each other and with ourselves as well. So we need someone that is saving us. And I have to say that it's a very, very dangerous and very vulnerable place to be in, when you really think that the right wing is different from the left wing. It's extremely dangerous, and I think many people will get disillusioned because of that, but it's part of the process. So it is very, very naive to think, just as with Putin and the biolabs and whatever we think that is going on there, it's very, very dangerous and naive to think that any politician or any person that is well known will solve our problems. And especially a person that is coming from that political field, which is deeply, deeply infiltrated by the deep state. And it doesn't really matter which government of which country we are talking about, because they are all working for the same one world government. So we have one world government, we like it or not. And everything else is just the illusion, is giving the illusion of freedom, is giving the illusion of diversity in that sense. There is diversity, but in the central power and the central governance, there's no diversity, there's one goal. So the only diversity and the only sovereignty and freedom that we can achieve ever is coming from within us and from coming together. So diversity and individuality can only be expressed when we come from a place of sovereignty, we come from a place of freedom. And that is starting within us first, and then it will be manifested externally as well, and these structures will change. But I talked about that many times. All right, so I do think that sovereignty and discernment are the biggest initiations for humankind. These are the biggest lessons that we have to go through. And these years, these times are serving for that, like the realization of us being free from within and claiming that sovereignty, that freedom as well, externally as well, by standing up. So humans have been functioning for thousands of years in this mentality of a tribe. So they did have this tribe mentality. But we are living the times now of individuality. So we have to understand ourselves individually. And the tribe mentality is amazing. But there was a split in that consciousness. And humankind needed to arrive to those times where it has to take an individual path. So we have descended as well as spirits, as souls. Our consciousness has descended because of that, and we became very, very dense. But that happened in order for us to experience what individuality is. What is to think individually? What opinions do we have? Like, who are you as an individual that is functioning outside of the tribe? So you understand yourself, you find out what is your opinion, what you are inside of you, who you are as an individual. As I said, what is your opinion about certain things, and not other people's opinion, not your neighbor's opinion, not your family's opinion, not your wife's or husband's opinion, but yours. What is your opinion about things? Who are you without those people? Okay, so this is what we are going through right now. This is what we are learning about ourselves. Who am I without those people, without those things? Can I make decisions for myself that I consider to be the best for me? Do I know myself enough to make decisions for myself without being influenced by my environment, without being influenced by those people that I work with or my family, and so on? Can I do those things? And the injection thing was a very, very great self-discovery lesson for many people. Like, what I consider to be the best for me. Can I take decisions based on my feelings, on my intuition, regardless of what the mainstream media is saying, regardless of what I'm hearing every single day about the COVID narrative as well? Can I believe in myself that I'm powerful enough to transcend any negative energy and the energy of the virus as well, instead of being pulled into the fear of other people? You know, these kind of things. And when you get to know yourself and you honor your own needs and your own opinion, then you have passed the initiation of your individuality and sovereignty. And when you pass that, then you can function in a tribe as well. You can function in a collective as well. And when each and one of us get to know ourselves better, get to know what is our strengths, what are our strengths, what are our weaknesses, which direction we have to go, what is our mission, which areas of our lives are those that need to be improved, but which areas we are best at, then we know how to contribute into the collective. And this will change kind of the whole landscape of our world and our society, when each and one of us got to know ourselves individually. So this is our initiation, the initiation of our sovereignty and discernment, because discernment is also a byproduct of getting to know yourself. Because when you get to know yourself, you can read energy as well. And when you are able to read energy, then you have developed discernment. Okay, so going back to the preparation thing, to prepare or not to prepare, I think what is the most important thing, as I said, and everything starts with self-discovery and investing in yourself. And these times that are ahead right now and are being shown to us, that we are living in a world where we are being governed by external forces. And if we don't develop a very centered consciousness and spirituality, then we will be governed by others. So we have to know that we have all the rights and all the motives and reasons to feel angry, to feel frustrated about the world and the state of the world, to even experience panic, like being a little bit panicked and anxious and fearful about the situation. So these emotions, these feelings are valid. So it's important for us to know. However, if we don't develop that alignment within yourself to be centered, as I said, then it doesn't matter how much you are preparing with food, how much you are preparing with electricity and these basic needs, you will still not feel centered. So when we act from this alignment from within, this alignment with the cosmic consciousness, with the Christ consciousness as well, and this universal knowing, universal wisdom, and we can be aware and we observe what emotions and what feelings are being activated in us, then we can go beyond those emotions. We can be the observer of those emotions. And then when we become the observer of our emotions, but we are not participating and we don't identify ourselves with those emotions, then we become much more effective. And there will be situations and people that will be presented to us that will lead us to the right direction. So what I'm trying to say here is that, first of all, the basis of your safety is to develop this heart-brain coherence and to act from the heart. Because the heart has this very amazing capacity that it clears up the mind. When the mind is fearful and it is frustrated and confused, the heart clears up the whole landscape. The heart clears up the whole picture. And it will be very evident for you because you are acting from a higher place. You are acting directly from your higher self, and it will be very, very clear for you what direction to take. So when it comes to standing up for yourself, or preparation as well, that you have to make certain arrangements, like in the physical reality, in the material world, like buying stuff, making sure that you have clear water, making sure that you have shelter and everything. It's very important because I always say that you have to have this grounded, centered spirituality, this grounded approach to things. So it's very, very important to take action also, and maybe think about your investments in the future, taking in consideration the current state of the society and economy. We have to think about different various methods of investing our money in precious metals or other things. So these things are absolutely normal, and I think we have all, and they are important, as I said, and we have all gone through a phase of a little bit of panic, like what we are going to do now if certain things will change, how we are going to act. What is the solution for us not to participate in this crazy and surrealistic NW order, this synthetic order that is self-destroying anyways at some point? How we can get out of that? Shall we go off grid? What we gotta do if we lose our freedom and these kind of things? So it's important to take action, but then also to observe what kind of emotions, what feelings are being activated in you when you are being presented with situations like this and when you're thinking about the future. Because, for example, in my case, it was very heavily activated. I remember last year, like around October, November, this fear of losing my freedom, when there was this thing about the camps, the COVID camps, that they're gonna put people there, and like these kind of crazy things were going on in my mind. These crazy images and movie crazy movie was going on in my mind about how they're gonna force people to take the injection. So it's important to observe what is being activated and where that fear is coming from, because that fear for every single individual is different, right? We are all fearful of something. And it's a generational thing. This is how we are being conditioned, and this is a natural, innate thing to have this instinct of survival. However, the instinct of survival doesn't work the way that we think that it works. So it's important to observe these things and to go beyond them. Because when you manage to go beyond them, you go beyond the fear, the frustration, the anger, these random, short length frequencies, then you will be left with much more energy. Because fear, frustration, anger is taking away a lot of energy from you, a lot of force. So when you go beyond these things, you become in alignment with yourself, and that is the real power. And no matter how much reason you have to feel all those low vibrational, short length emotions, the real power comes from this place of being in alignment. And that is clearing up the landscape. And also when we don't act from this place of alignment, but we act from this place of anger and random different emotions, then our actions and our moves can be very easily hijacked. Our consciousness can be very easily hijacked. So when you act from this place of fear and panic, and you go to the store and you buy everything just because everyone is doing that, and you're like, oh my God, what if the store will run out of food? What if I will run out of food? And these kind of things, then your movements will be hijacked and your energy can be used against you. So it's important to be aware of these things, because this is where the real power comes from. And when you move beyond these things, as I said, and you become centered and aligned, then you will find yourself being drawn to situations and people, and you are safely letting go, and you are letting your intuition to lead the way. That will help you not only with healing, but then also with being safe. So it is all about knowing that your heart and your energetic system and your innate divine essence is working in a way that will always make sure that you will be oriented to a direction where you are being healed. So it's healing you, and it will always make the best adjustments for you in order to become centered and to be aligned. And it will recalibrate your path that will lead you to the right people that will help you with that as well. So we have to develop this very strong connection with ourselves and strong intuition, because I cannot give you a magic formula that will work on the physical world. Each and every one of us, we have a different situation that we are living in right now, right? And no one can really predict the future, what is going to happen. So you can listen to 100 advices from 100 people, how to invest your money or how to prepare physically. Not all the 100 advices will work for you. Only a few of those advices will work for your own situation. And if you don't have an aligned and centered and developed discernment and guidance system, then you will be not able to filter out which of those advices will work for you. So it doesn't mean that we don't have to take physical action. You have to make sure that you have water, enough food for yourself for a certain period of time. But long term, the only way to get prepared is to invest in your own system of discernment and intuition, and to get yourself centered, because this is how your instincts will work. When you are able to read energy, when you are in a place of fear and these low vibrational emotions, then your instincts are not working. Your nervous system is being infiltrated, and your actions and movements are being hijacked easily, and the energy can be used against you. And the world is full of people that are super prepared, these super rich people that are prepared for the apocalypse. And they have shelters underground and a lot of food. They have everything, all the physical needs. But yet, that doesn't mean anything, and that doesn't matter if you are not able to read energy. Because when you're not able to read energy, you will be funneled into places and situations that are based on your fear, and they are a vibrational match to those low vibrational emotions. So the real preparation is starting within you, but we have to find the middle ground, and also not to overly spiritualize everything, that, oh my God, I don't need to do anything physical, or to think that you only have to be focused on positive things and the love and light, and otherwise you will attract situations into your life, with the preparation that that's also a place of fear, like being fearful of attracting certain situations. So when you're really aligned again, then you will know what skills you have to develop, you will know what people are right for you, you will know all these things. And I'm not going to tell you that, okay, you have to develop certain skills that you never thought about. Okay, but which skill? Each and one of us are different. And it's only your guidance system really and your intuition that knows which skills you need to develop and which people and places and situations will help you the best with those skills being developed. That can be a long-term investment that will provide you with safety long-term. So instead of prepping and buying and accumulating a lot of things that you don't even need out of fear, what we really need to focus on are three important things that are byproducts of each other, so to speak. The first one is alignment and getting centered. Yeah. The second one is synchronicity, which will be a byproduct of being aligned because you will be presented with synchronistic events that will help you. And the third one is unfolding. So everything will unfold. So alignment, synchronicity, and unfolding of things. So these are, the biggest investment, I would say it again, is to work on yourself being centered. That's the biggest preparation. And to give you an example and to talk about myself, how I'm preparing, I don't have a plan because the energy is so volatile. You cannot predict what is going to happen. You cannot predict every single step of the deep state or NWO agenda and how it will unfold, because no one knows how it will unfold. We have an infinite number of possibilities. So I don't have a list that, oh my God, I need to tick that, this is how I'm doing that. I invest my money into precious metals. I'm trying to do that as much as I can. But oh my God, do I panic if the silver or gold is being sold out or it's more expensive than it was 1 month ago? No. I know that I will be fine. And how do I know that? I know that because I'm constantly centered. I'm trying my best to be centered. I don't manage to be centered all the time, but when I'm out of alignment, I can feel it. I can feel it by the way I feel. Your emotions are your inner compass. When you are out of alignment, you can observe that by paying attention to your emotions. When you have negative emotions that kick in now and then, which happens to all of us, you know that you're out of alignment. And I bring myself back into alignment by knowing that, but I will be fine, I don't need to know all the details of my path, how it will unfold, because I know that I will be guided. So if I don't buy silver today because it's too expensive, but I still need to buy a lot of silver because I'm thinking about my future, I don't panic. Maybe I will buy it tomorrow. I will buy it when there's the right moment. And how do I know when is the right moment for that? I know through my intuition. And I let go. You don't stress yourself because I know that I just will be okay. There's this inner conviction within you that you will be okay. And there's no physical material stuff that can give you that safety, that feeling of being safe, but your connection with yourself. So many times I'm being presented with roadblocks, and you know that you are centered. And when you are centered, you know that those roadblocks are being presented because it's not the path. Your path is being recalibrated. There's another way of doing things, a better way. But let me tell you that it took me a few years to get to this conviction and to manage to get centered and to know that I will be fine. And when your basic needs are not being met and you don't feel safe in the world because you don't know how to pay your bills, then that is a very vulnerable place to be in, and you cannot really build a foundation on a place like that. You cannot really start a new business, for example, when you have to worry about your survival. So, for example, now without the help of my family, financially, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing right now. I wouldn't be able to make these videos because I don't have a stable income, a 9-to-5 job. But in order to let myself to be in this place and to let other people help me, that was a long way to go. And there was needed a lot of shadow work for that, a lot of work on my traumas. So make sure that you have your basic needs met. And you cannot do that alone. And that was the misconception in me as well, and the confusion, because I thought that I should do things alone. And if I cannot provide myself with my basic needs by myself, why building a business but not knowing how to pay my bills because I don't have enough income? I thought that, oh my God, I'm such a loser. And it's not true. So we have to be realistic about these things and to set only realistic expectations from ourselves, not unrealistic expectations like, oh, you're supposed to make a lot of money from your creativity, from your passion, but with no real help, and at the same time having to focus on your own survival. It's impossible, because focusing on survival takes away a lot of energy from you, so you cannot focus on your mission. So everything is having its own order, and we have to be gentle with ourselves. And that is why it's so important to come together at these times. So get to know yourself, work on your shadows, work on your spirituality, get yourself centered, work on your traumas, find out who you truly are. But that doesn't mean that you don't have to accept help from other people. And if you don't have it all together, especially nowadays, that doesn't mean that you are a loser. And it doesn't mean that you are incapable. We all need help. And I wish I knew that earlier, but that was my own self-discovery journey, to be more gentle with myself and to be vulnerable and to come from a place of authenticity that, yeah, I have certain needs. And there's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with being needy sometimes or wanting to be nurtured and things like that. So especially now at these times, it's important to have those basic needs met. But you cannot provide with those basic needs, or you cannot help others to provide with those basic needs for you, if you have not worked on yourself and not invested in your spiritual evolution. Because then, as I said, you will be funneled into situations where you will keep yourself stuck. For example, in a 9 to 5 that is so unsuitable for you. It has nothing to do with your mission or what you want to do. You even hate your job, but you are being stuck in that place. So I've been there as well. And these kind of things. So yeah, working on your spirituality. And do I buy food now for myself to prepare? Yes, I do. I have cans, and with my family as well. And I kind of prepared my family mentally for these things. But none of us is coming from a place of fear. We know that we cannot prepare long term for I don't know how many years ahead, but we can only have faith and that conviction that we always have. We will always have what we need. And of course, there's a big percentage of the population that is so not aware with what is going on, that is so not aware of the corruption and the severity of the situation and how we are being controlled and manipulated. And they don't even want to acknowledge that. They don't even want to look there and to acknowledge that there are hard times that are ahead for an average human being. They don't want to see that because it's painful. And that is a very vulnerable place to be in for a human being that is absolutely not prepared. And there's nothing that you can really do in order to convince them. You cannot convince a person that has been through thousands of lifetimes and has been through many, many experiences. You cannot convince them in 1 hour or in one conversation, even in one lifetime otherwise. So you understand, like we have to let go of wanting to convince people and wanting to save people. It's their journey and they will realize. And if they come to you and ask for help, you will help them. But otherwise, what can you do when they are considering you crazy because you are preparing for conspiracy theories and these kind of things? Just let go. So that is our lesson, to let go. And their lesson is to wake up to the reality. We all have to learn. All right, so do not worry about the practicality of things because there's so much material out there. And as I said, when you're tuned with yourself and with your inner guidance, then you will be drawn to that material as well on YouTube, on the internet, from other people, like how to prepare. So your filter, like your filter system, like to filter out the best information for yourself, is your intuition. Nothing can really compete with that. Nothing. Okay, so this is what I wanted to say about preparing or not preparing. Let's pull a few cards now for Canada. I will not do Australia because this video is already too long. I will do it another time. But yeah, let's pull a few cards for Canada. Like, what is the situation in Canada? What is this corona situation? And as I said, I don't really know what is going on there, but we can maybe do like a short-term outcome to see where things are going. Okay, so a few cards for Canada, Spirit, please. Okay, so we have the Two of Swords reversed. We have the Two of Pentacles reversed as well. Wow, interesting. Ace of Swords reversed. Page of Cups reversed. And we have the shadow side at the bottom of the deck, which is the Devil card reversed as well. All right, let's see what is going on there. Yeah, so it does feel for me like there's still a lot of restriction and tyranny that is taking place there, because we have the Two of Pentacles and the Two of Swords, both reversed. And the Two of Swords is talking about a compromise. So I feel like people are being put in situations where they really have to compromise their inner freedom as well, their peace of mind, and external freedom as well. And the Two of Pentacles reversed is about an info overload, like struggling with deciding, like there's indecision. So there's a lot of mental block, I feel like, in the country and within people right now. There's a lot of stress as well. And there's a lot of indecision, like not really knowing how to go forward, how to handle this situation. And that's why we had the Ace of Swords as well. Like what we are going to do right now, because we are being presented loads of obstacles. And that's why we had the Page of Cups as well reversed, meaning that there are loads of obstacles that are being put in front of people, so they cannot really progress. So yeah, there is a lot of stress within people, and I feel like it's coming from this tyrannical system, from the government. There is also a sense of loss because of this card, like we have lost and the situation is a little bit hopeless for us, like when we're gonna get out of this, when this is going to end. So this is the general feeling in the country, and I'm not surprised because it is absolutely horrible what is going on there. And at the bottom of the deck we have the Devil reversed. And whenever I get the Devil reversed, that is always, for me, is the sign of this devil energy losing kind of power. And there's a hope for this devil energy to be overthrown. There's a hope for liberation. So not everything is lost. I think it's really up to people when they will decide on a spiritual level, on a metaphysical level, to free themselves up from this tyranny and this devil energy. So nothing is really lost, and there's a lot of hope. However, right now I think there's a lot of mental block in the country, and this sense of losing direction because of what happened with the Canada Freedom, with the Freedom Convoy, and how the situation was handled. Yeah, there was a loss of hope because of that. And those feelings are really valid. It's just when people are so angry and frustrated around the situation, it happens the exact same thing as I was talking about in the video at the beginning, that is taking away that sense of instinct and the capacity to decide from the place of the intuition. So sort of. So it's very hard to find a way out of a situation when one is angry. All right, let's ask about why this is happening exactly in Canada. What is behind that? What is the metaphysical reason behind that? Okay, we have the World reversed. We have the King of Wands reversed as well. And we have the Nine of Swords that is reversed. Only reversed cards. So the World reversed and the King of Wands is talking about real anger. Like there's a lot of anger in the country because of what is happening right now and many things from the past as well. So it's kind of like a revisiting of the past. But the World reversed for me is saying that there's a lot of attachment for the old world, the way that people were living their life, and it's being manifested for every single individual differently. Like there's attachment to one's job, to one's place, to one's home, to the same people, to the same way of doing things. And I think that Canadian people have to let go of the old ways, because that attachment is coming from the collective, and it's being actualized and manifested in a form of slavery that is coming from the government. So there's this self enslavement that is taking place in the collective, like fear of change and being fearful about a new way of living, as I said, and that is being manifested in the government as well, because as within, so without. However, many people, because of what happened, and many people, because they saw that if they unite their powers, the Canadian people are uniting their powers, they can really change things. And that's why it has awakened this collective hope in people as well. So now it's really up to everybody. If you start feeling defeated because of what happened and the response of the government, or you will find a strength and a place of power on which you can build new things. So just because some people are feeling defeated by how the government responded to this movement, it doesn't mean that this is it, this is over. You know, this is just the beginning. But there's this self-enslavement, this attachment within people and the collective consciousness, and that's why the Devil card came out reversed. So it's really up to people if they continue to feed the devil energy, because from that place of empowerment, the devil is no longer being fed and it loses power. That's why it came out reversed. Okay, so it's really, really up to people. And now at the bottom of the deck, we have the King of Swords. And that is also representing that authority that wants to push back and wants to keep people in one place. But that's also the people as well, the King of Swords. You are the King of Swords. You have all the strength, all the power, all the abilities to stand up for yourself. So it's kind of like a self-empowerment journey for Canadian people, what is going on. All right, so I will put all these cards back and let's see what is the short-term outcome. What is that is happening short-term? Because long-term, as I said, the energies are so volatile that you cannot really predict. So short-term outcome, we have Temperance upright. So that's the first card. Short-term outcome in Canada, Spirit. We have another two cards. We have the Ace of Wands, beautiful. We have the Empress upright as well, beautiful. So this is a possibility. This is a potential outcome. And we have the Eight of Swords upright. All right. So as I said, this is one of the possibilities, but there's a beautiful energy that can really come in. And as I said, there's this self-imposed restriction that people are putting on themselves that is kind of preventing this new, beautiful, transformational energy to come in. Look at that ace, like it's so beautiful. And then we have the butterfly there as well. So there's a lot of potential for a new beginning, for a transformation, for rebirth and rising from the ashes, like this rebirth of the phoenix. But this energy is keeping things in one place. And then we have the Empress that is telling us that there's a lot of potential, there's a lot of abundance, there's a lot of power within and fertility that can really change things. But for that, there's a need for harmony, like balancing out the energies. and there's need for a lot of work that is being put in, like a lot of spiritual work. So I feel like these energies need to be balanced out, and as I said, this is a possibility, but based on the current energies, there's a high chance that people will realize that within themselves, that they are really powerful and they can overcome this situation. And look, the Temperance card, it has the rainbow there. So there's a potential for this new beginning. There's a potential for this new beautiful energy to come in, the rise of people. But for now, things are stagnating. And we had the word again at the bottom of the deck reversed. So there's the attachment to the old world that is keeping things, that is not letting things to progress. So if I had to give an advice, I would say keep doing what you're doing and invest in yourself, because there is a lot of hope that can bring this new beginning. There's really a lot of hope. And the next card, look, is the Two of Wands. And that is talking about waiting for results, like patiently. And then we have the Sun reversed. Yeah, so there's a little bit of a doubt in the air, like how you are going to make this work. But I feel like you have a lot of potential, like the country has a lot of potential. And probably many things will shift very soon there. But you cannot really guarantee anything because the energies are shifting very quickly. So yeah, these are not easy times for Canada, but I see a lot of hope. And I also see a lot of courage as well with these Two of Wands. And the Sun is showing that there might be a potential loss. And that's why people are so afraid to lose their jobs, to lose their homes, to lose their living, their livelihood. And it's important not to be afraid to take certain risks in terms of that, because this is how the energies will be shifting. You know, it's like you cannot really blackmail us with these things if we are not afraid of those things. You can only use that energy against us if we are really fearful. But at the moment that the fear disappears, you lose power over us. So I feel like many people are having that courage to just say no and to say that, you know what, we have nothing to lose. Okay, so this was today's video. I hope that it resonated with some of you, and if it did, then you can subscribe to this channel. You can also check out my Patreon, where I do group readings and I do channel meditations and guidances, and then also readings about certain things, like different things, detailed readings. Yeah, I'm trying to post as frequently as possible. So yeah, if you're interested, you can check that out. And again, thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. Take care, everybody, and I cannot wait to see you next time.